Okay, so make sure you understand what I'm saying here. Year three, if you go through exactly how I'm showing you this year, 10% per month is absolutely doable. I don't give a fuck. I'll stand in front of the CFTC and say, yep, you can do that too. It can happen. It's easy. That part's easy. Why? Why is it easy? How can it possibly be obtainable? Number one, you have to know what you're looking for. What repeats every single day? Now, listen, if you've been eating Doritos and chips and you're watching some sports bullshit, okay, stop, because this is the part where it really starts to get good. What repeats every single day in the marketplace? Think. A rush for the market to go one direction or the other. Here's the wonderful thing. You can be dead fucking wrong at the beginning of the day on bias. Here's the secret. Listen, you can be dead fucking wrong on your bias every single day at 9:30. Who gives a shit? Flip a quarter. If it heads, okay, I'm going to be looking to go long. If it's tails, you're looking to go short. And then you wait. Wait that first 30 minutes and see what they do. If you had a liquidity pool that they were aiming for, or likely to be aiming for, in other words, if you think that the market was likely to go up to take out an old high, run some buy stops, right? And the market just immediately tanks. First 30 minutes, this is going down, 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 down. Okay. Well, now you have a easy decision to make. Is there a fair value gap that decline has created and left in its porous wake? In other words, as it's dropped down, did it leave a fair value gap up there that it can go back up into? Some of you that are scalpers may say, okay, I'm going to trust a counter trend move and I'm going to trade up into that. And that's my trade for the morning. That's it. I'm done. Others would wait for it to go up into that fair value gap and then run to another lower low. That's a bread and butter setup. Both of them are. Which one would you personally feel comfortable doing? That's the problem with all of you. You want whatever I've done recently, that's the model you want to do. Much like when you now have seen multiple times now where I say a range shouldn't be filled in, or this is a balanced price range. My stop loss can be ultra tight, and I'm showcasing that and proving it and typing it out, saying this is exactly what it's not going to do. And now you want to abandon every other pursuit in your learning to now discover that. Because if you could just do that and put that on YouTube and on Twitter and on Instagram, you're elite. That's bullshit. You're wasting time doing that stuff. It's not to say that it's not important to learn, because I'll teach it to you, but that's not it. You have to see what happens every single day. The market's aiming for liquidity. Period. That's happening every fucking day. Every day. And next week, I'm going to have an exercise for you every single day. You cannot do anything until 10 o'clock. And then we're going to be looking for a pool of liquidity above or below the marketplace. And you have to engage that for 5 handles. And you have to do it every single day next week. Oh, what if I fail? That's fine. It's okay. You're doing it. And doing it is like working out. You don't get abs the first time you did sit-ups. You're not getting a 6-pack abs just because you watch some guy on YouTube do them. You got to get out there and do that shit yourself. So this is how you do it. Every single day, the market seeks liquidity. That's the benefit in being these lower time frames, because there's so many fucking chances to do that. And 5 handles is 5 handles easily done. Now, let's return back to that multiplier. Folks that don't have a model that repeats, that is absolutely generic, that keeps repeating over and over and over again, that's not linked to sound logic, but it's rooted in all kinds of indicator horseshit, they have no idea what pattern is going to set up next. They're just reacting to whatever the indicators are saying. They can't forecast it. They don't know when it's going to happen. Contrast that with, we know exactly when the fucking shit's occurring. We like the last hour of trading. That right there, some of you, that's the land of milk and honey. Because you have all of the day behind you, and you had that last hour of trading. If you see that last hour hasn't ran out a target that it's obviously aiming for, that last hour becomes real easy to trade. Or if it hits it in the afternoon session and we start going into that 3 o'clock hour to 4 o'clock Eastern time, and there's a small little shift in market structure and it returns back to a fair value gap, look for a pool liquidity on the 1 or 5 minute chart. 5 handles, done. But what if it goes 30? Who gives a fuck? You're aiming for five. Okay. You're doing this to make money. You're not doing this to impress people on fucking social media. That's what some of you are more, you're more focused about that. That's the driver for you because that gives you what? Significance. And I understand that wholeheartedly. Believe me, I understand that. But that is a pursuit that's wasted. You want to be making money. That's why you're here. You're not in here to impress anybody. You're here to make fucking money. And you can't make fucking money if you are not consistently doing the same things. And how do you do that? You have to have a goal. Let's say, hypothetically, that your goal is to get funded with $250,000, $250,000. Now, I haven't gone through the trouble of discerning how much it costs a funded trader to pay for the access to something like that each month. And I don't know. Okay. But you're welcome to tweet to me and say, this is what that company does here. To get $250,000, this is what you have to pay for. This is what you have to do and the whole business. Okay. I don't know that. I'm just giving you some ideas to think about. Okay. But if you had $250,000 that you were funded with, whether collectively or individually in one prop firm, and you're aiming for, now you're in year 2.5 to 3 years. Okay. So you're looking for 10% returns per month. That's 2.5% per week. Now, some of you that are probably educators or mentors listening to this shit, maybe you're a professional trader, maybe you've been doing it for a long time and you think, everything I'm saying is horse shit, whatever. I'm going to prove all this year. 2.5%. If you're telling me that you got in this business and you can't make 2.5% in one fucking week, what the hell are you here for? Like, what are you doing? 2.5%? Like 2.5%. You can't do 2.5% in a course of 1 week. If you've been doing this for 3 years, you're doing something wrong. And I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. Less than 2.5 years, if you're thinking you're going to get 10% consistently every single month, then that's not going to happen. So let's be real. Okay. Can someone that's been versed with price action do 10% per month consistently? Yes. How? How can that be done? Well, number one, let's strip it down to the basic math, and then I'll tell you how to apply your multiplier to it. So you have $250,000 and you're aiming for 10%. So you're trying to get $25,000 for that month. So you take your 25,000 divided by 4. That needs to be broken up of, and then we're going to use just one market, and we're going to say my baby is ES. Okay. E-mini S&P. You're not worried about what NASDAQ's doing. You don't give a shit what Forex is doing. You don't care what crude oil is doing. You don't care what Bitcoin's doing. You don't care about the new coin coming out. You are focused on one market. That's it. You take your 25,000, divide that by 4, and then you take that and divide that by 5 days. But you just sat there saying that everyday trading. Yeah, you're a new student. I'm trying to take your attention away from trying to be an everyday trader when you don't know how to trade right now. There's time for all of that once you know what you're doing. You can trade every fucking session after you know what you're doing. Multiple times in the same session, you can do it. You can buy and sell in the same session once you know what you're doing. But right now, you don't know what you're doing. You're going to hurt yourself. So if I'm going to teach you, I'm going to teach you the correct way. And that means I'm going to give you realistic timeframes for when things should be expected. What happens if you do really, really well? Could you do it sooner? Yes, but that shouldn't be your goal. You should be doing this with the intent that you're going to do it with these timelines in mind, with the intent that you're going to get good with the proper amount of time to allow you to develop into it. Okay, 10%, Michael. That's a little too much for me now. Give me something more realistic. Okay. Let's say it's 3%. Oh, A month? Come on, Michael. Seriously, 3%? Dude, that's like your stop loss. Yes, but here's the thing: $250,000. And if you have 3% is your model, you're aiming for 3%. Can you hit 3% in year one per month? At the end of it, yeah, I believe you can. Consistently, probably not every single month because you're still developing. But I think in the same frame of 2.5 to 3 years, I think 3% every single month is absolutely doable. What's the math on that? Well, for $250,000 and you're trying to get 3%, it's $7,500 per month. So you take that same thing, divide it by 4 weeks. And I know some of you are thinking, like, this is anybody could do this is elementary math. Yes, but I want you to think about how you're not doing this. So it's so easy, you know the math, but you're fucking still working. Okay. You're still doing fucking oil changes at fucking Jiffy Lube. Okay. And you're going to talk to me in the comment section about how you say this and you say that. Dude, if it's so easy, you do it. You record yourself. You go on Twitter, say what it's going to go to next, and you do it. Okay. And I'm going to see you fucking flyboys doing that. So you got $7,500 on $2,500 equity. So you funded with $250,000. You're aiming for 3%. Now, some of you are thinking 3%, fuck that, that's not enough. Listen, folks, listen to the math here. $7,500. Are you making $7,500 right now at your job? Does your boss love you so fucking much that they're rewarding you for 40 hours or more a week in the tune of $7,500 a month? Chances are you're fucking not. Okay. Now, some of you probably make more than that, and that's fine. That's great. Well done. You're still a slave. But $7,500, divide that by 4 weeks. It's $1,875 a week. Now, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of money. And that's an easy objective to reach, especially if you're working with $250,000. So you do the same thing. You break that up over points. We're doing with the S&P right now. Okay. So if you take $1,875, divide that by $50. That's 1 point. Okay. Or one handle. 4 ticks is one handle or 1 point in the S&P. That's $50. Divide that $1,875 by 50. That means you have to earn a net gain of 37.5 handles or points for the week. What? How am I going to do that? Well, per day, it's only 7.5 points. That's easy as shit. That's fucking easy. Now, you split that day of 7.5 points into 2 sessions. You have the morning session, you have the afternoon session, divide it into lunch. You take a lunch hour, go play some PlayStation, Xbox, take a nap, whatever. Come back at 1:30 and work till 4 o'clock and aim for what? The same thing you try to do in the morning. You got 7.5 points that you got to make. That's your goal. That's all you're aiming for the day. You try to get 3.75 handles. That's 1 tick less than 4 handles in the morning and in the afternoon. So aim for 4 handles in the morning, aim for 4 handles in the afternoon, and that covers your commission costs. And you'll net 3.75 handles. You do that every single day. Or if you're a swing trader and you say, I can see something on the hourly chart that's going to probably move 40 handles, well, then you just do 1 trade and you're done. But you can split this up into small, little, tiny, bite-sized pieces. And if you've watched what I've been doing and you think that 4 handles is hard, you haven't been watching enough of my videos. You haven't been watching enough of my executions. 4 handles is nothing. Like 4 handles, that can happen in less than 5 minutes. 2 minutes. Like in some instances, on one minute candle, it can do 5 handles. Because I'm taking you into the time when the market's likely to move like that. Aiming for a direction or a bias that's attacking a pool of liquidity or aiming for an inefficiency. You're not looking at indicators, you're looking at shit that repeats over and over again. So you could be taking that $250,000 account and parlaying that up to $7,500 a month, doing around $80-some thousand a year, not doing very much to do it. It's all about how you understand what repeats. I'm showing you these small little movements intraday because when you look at all the social media stuff, they all show you these big, massive runs in price that they just got lucky with. I'm showing you week after week, day after day, 100 handle moves, 50 handle moves, 30 handle moves. And I'm talking to you right now about 4 handles. That's one less than the 5 handle model that my son uses. 4 handles, folks. That's easy. That's so easy. It's insane. And you can do just 1-to-1 gearing and it's done. You're trying to make 3% per month on $250,000. What happens if you do that same thing each month with that same $250,000 account and you let 3% compound over and over and over again? You're making 6 figures. You're not over leveraging ever. You're never going to blow the account. You're never going to wreck yourself. And you're never aiming for something that's too hard or anxiety inducing. 6% per month doubles your account size, no matter how you slice it. No matter what you start with, at the end of the entire year, if you compound 6% every single month, it's 100% return. You have $1 million account that you funded with? Okay, aim for 6%. Oh, but ICT. Oh, ICT shit. Okay, it's this math and sticking to the same multiplier. What's the multiplier? How do you get those 4 points? I know what you're thinking. Like, okay, this sounds all easy now. Now tell us, how do we get those 4 handles? How do we get those 4 points? What have I been showing you? Aim for something. What's it reaching for? A pool of liquidity. Bias has nothing to do with it. Where is it at right now? Turn your charts on at 10 o'clock tomorrow. You're not trading. This is going to be a preview for the next week. You do not turn your charts on until 10 o'clock in the morning, New York local time. Find the most recent 5 or 15-minute high or low. What's the market done since the opening? And then aim for that. See which side's been ran out initially. If they've taken out the lows and it's been run up and it's created a short-term high and it's retraced, its chances are it's going to do what? Run that high that just made. If it offers 4 handles, then you execute in your, not your demo, in your observance of watching price. You're going to tape read that. Well, what am I looking for? A fair value gap on a 1-minute chart. It will be there. That's the wonderful thing that you're going to discover, because all this stuff repeats on all these time frames. You watch me do a 10-second trade on NASDAQ today. And yeah, it repeats over and over again on all time frames, because price is price. And price is not really referring to the things I'm showing you in charts. That's the language that I've used to bridge your understanding and what you don't and won't know about the algorithm. See, there's a difference between people that will say with harmonic bullshit, okay, and retail logic splattered all over their chart, and say that's what the banks use. This is the algorithm. No, that's not. That's retail bullshit, and that's why it's failing you, and you're blowing out publicly. And I'm showing every single day precision at work. Now, you don't have to like me, okay? We don't have to be friends at the end of this year, okay? But give me the opportunity to make you into a fucking beast, okay? I don't give a shit what you think about me as a person. I don't give a shit if you like my personality. I don't think that even matters, okay? But I am so ready. I am so ready to transform all of you. But you have to be here. You have to show up and you have to engage and you have to study and you have to look at the shit and forget all the other shit you think you know. Put it all down. You'll believe me. I guarantee you, you will see right away there's something totally different when we're watching real-time price action, because it's going to be a plain, simple chart. And you're going to watch these candles paint and they're going to communicate with one another. They're going to react to one another, and they're going to live and breathe and move across the chart in a way that's going to make perfect sense. After several months of doing it, you're going to know exactly what it's doing without me saying it. And when you start hearing me say exactly what you're thinking, you understand exactly how to read the tape. You have then, at that moment, learned a skill set that I can't write down in a book. I can't make a video for you because that's what you want. You want these 5-minute trainers, learn ICT concepts in 5 fucking minutes. Man, seriously, you can't. My shit's been out there since last year. Okay. I want to see these individuals that are saying they can do it in 5 minutes, and these 5-minute video trainers go out and trade it live. Go out there on Twitter like I'm doing, call the level it's going to be traded to next, and then record yourself doing a precision entry with a stop loss and targets being filled. Stop making 5-minute bullshit. Okay. You can't learn this in 5 minutes. I can't compress 3 decades into fucking a year. I couldn't do it. It took several years to get it this far. It's just so, it's deep. It's very, very deep. And you can go really, really, really far with your learning with this and become a freak with it, like I am. Like to me, it's amazing. I love it. But you don't need to be like this to make money. You can just do what I showed you last year, and that's it. That's beautiful. You can make all kinds of money with that. But what repeats every single day that these folks that will tell you don't have a goal. Don't have a fucking goal. Don't have a percentage return because math doesn't matter. And the logic they use in trading is flawed. So it makes perfect sense. They'll argue and say, oh, they're going to show you a spreadsheet and they're going to pull up a calculator and they're going to do this and going to do that. But they're not going to be able to do it because this, that, and the other thing. Now, bullshit. I'm already showing you. I'm bringing the receipts that I can read this shit real time on any fucking time frame. Any time frame. I showed you with the daily chart. I showed you with the weekly chart. I showed you with the 4-hour chart, the hourly chart, the 15-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, the 1-minute chart, the fucking second charts. 10 seconds now, folks. 10 fucking seconds. Do I got to do it with 1 second charts? Because I'll fucking do it next week too. And you still will see doubters because they can't do it. Fuck them. They don't matter. They don't matter. They cannot hold you back. But you're going to let them. Some of you will let that bullshit creep into your head and you will ignore the fucking evidence that I'm proving and showing and giving you a testimony every single fucking day. Here it is. It's right here again. Here it is. Here it is. Take your attention to this chart. Look at that counter there. It's going to go here. It's going to go there. You have to have a target. You have to. If you have no target, how the fuck can you measure your progress? Are you hitting the mark every single time you aim for it? How can you realistically gauge progress and development? You're going to be spinning your wheels, which is exactly why this fucking industry has break even to blowout. 90% club. First 3 months, that's exactly what happens. How many times have you seen me get it wrong? Yeah, how about that? I'm publicly doing it. I'm pointing to it. I'm calling it. I'm recording myself doing it. How the fuck can I cherry pick it? I've already co-signed where it's going. You know where I'm aiming for. You know the logic I use for trades. My trades are one-sided. If you can paint the direction on both sides, that's not high probability. I wouldn't be in that fucking move. So you take that logic of knowing what we're looking for. The multiplier is your setup, your model, the thing that you trade over and over again. You don't give a shit about anybody else's pattern. You don't care what ICT's fucking trading. You don't know what anybody else in the community is doing. You don't give two shits what they're doing. You found your setup, your model. What does that look like? Well, I just showed you one the other day. I gave you a breaker that I thought was going to be, something I can watch and see it melt down. If it would have broke through, then I would have used a fair value gap and I would have done something with that trade. But I told you to wait to the open and what? And 15 minutes. And in that time period, waiting, I saw what I was looking for wasn't going to pan out. And if I have a time limit or a filter on saying I can't engage at 9:30, I got to wait. I can't get in ahead of 9:30. I have to wait. Why? Pal. And we are 2 days away from CPI. And it's treated much like what? Non-farm payroll. So you have to be very, very diligent about keeping your level of frequency and trade and engagement limited. Be very, very selective on what you're trying to do. Because these market conditions you watch today is generally what you see coming into CPI. Big money starts sitting still. And the algorithm will paint sideways, run small little shallow runs above highs and lows intraday, and just look aimless like Eurodollar. It's still doing something. 2, 3, 4, 5 handle, pip moves. But that's not what I want to be trading. Can I go in there and do that just to prove it to you? Yes. But I want to teach you the right way of looking at a market that's really moving. That's where I'm taking your attention. And I've been there for months. That's index futures right now. And Forex might get crazy again. And if it does, I'll migrate right back over to Forex. But right now, the risk is too high for what it's giving out. No, thank you.